Hey, we're back, episode 5 of Sweet and Sour Comic Collecting. In this episode, we're going to talk about a little more Uncanny X-Men, lots of Web of Spider-Man, an Amazing Spider-Man, and a little surprise. We're also going to do a little bit on the new Spider-Man movie that's out. Hey, okay, the first thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, my son Sam, who's behind the camera, gives it a solid 5 out of 5. He absolutely loves the movie, said it was one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. Says a bunch of folks also say it's one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. Personal opinion, because I'm an old dude with gray hair and I'm a little more critical, I'm going to give it a solid 4. And the only reason why is I'm not a big fan of the animation per se, but Sam is saying how from behind the camera. But I will say this, in the defense of the movie, and Sam explained it to me, is they kind of changed the animation for each universe. And I thought, I can kind of go with that. If they're going to be changing animation for each universe to kind of give each universe its own character, that's okay. But still, not a huge fan. The other part was, I didn't like the fact that an animated movie was to be continued. But again, my son comes to the defense of the movie saying, Dad, it's a trilogy. I did not see the very first Spider-Verse movie. That's my bad. When he said that, I said, okay, I get it. It's a trilogy, so it is to be continued. The good thing is, from what I've heard, you only have to wait till March of next year to see the conclusion. I would recommend getting out there and seeing it in the theaters. It's worth the money you'll pay. Again, give it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. Sam, a 5 out of 5. So the Sweet and Sour Comic Book Collecting combined average is a 4.5 out of 5 stars. If it were up to Sam on his own, it would be a solid 5.
Yeah, that's too low. I think it should be a 5, but I don't know. Bad opinion, Dad. Very bad.
Everybody has their own opinion. All right, so now we're going to get into the actual books that we got over the past week. Sam had the big haul. I had the little haul. But the little haul that I had was a couple of big, major key issues of the X-Men that I've been missing for years and years and years. Now that I have adult money, as my son likes to say, I can get things like this every once in a while, but I will say that I got these issues at a smoking price. One of the sour things with both issues, I didn't realize it with 121, but I did realize it with 120, is they both have detached covers. That's not an issue for me, though. This is in my personal collection, and I know how to reattach the covers and do it in such a manner that it looks pretty close to original. So the first issue that I'm going to show you is the Chaos in Canada, issue 120. It's in decent shape with the exception of the cover being detached. A little bit of wear and tear on the sides. I picked this up for, I believe, $33.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there.
Not too much, which is a pretty good price for something in this shape. The cover's really presentable. I've already given it an initial cleaning. I'll probably do one more cleaning and then attach the cover. Hey, second issue we're going to talk about is X-Men 121. This is the first full appearance of Alpha Flight. That would be Weapon Alpha, better known as Vindicator. You got Sasquatch on the cover. You also got a couple of really good other characters, obviously Storm and Cyclops and Colossus. I think her name is Snowbird. Again, I wasn't a big Alpha Flight fan, but great book. This one also had a detached cover. My son noticed it because he got the book and actually opened it and said it's attached by thread. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was okay though, because I only paid $26 for it. So again, I'm gonna do a little real light reinforcing of the spine where the staples are, because we still have the staples for it. We just have to reattach them to the cover. You won't even be able to see it. And again, it's for my personal collection. I've already given this one an initial cleaning too, and it went from being kind of grungy and dull, and it really started to whiten up. I'll probably clean it another 2 or 3 more times, but a great add to my collection and something I've been looking for a long time. And something really neat that this seller did for me is he also threw in an amazing X-Men issue, an Age of Apocalypse issue, just threw it in. Didn't ask for it, didn't know I was going to get it, but a really cool thing for the guy to do for me. All right, the big winner this week, though, was Sam DeWeese. So this guy picked up a ton of Spider-Man issues. He got 7 Web of Spider-Mans and 1 Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man. We're going to start with the Web of Spider-Man first. So he hauled off 5 Web of Spider-Mans from eBay for $13.99. They were issues 26 through 30. He was the only watcher, the only bidder, and pulled that little rabbit out of the hat for himself. And the cool thing about this is all of these books, save one, I would bet is just as a personal kind of grader, is probably a 9.8. These books are perfect. There's one book that has like a little wrinkle in it, bring it down to that 9.4, 9.2, but really great condition. Every single one of them have white pages. I'm going to show you the covers one at a time, because the other thing is they're all great covers too. So first issue we're going to show you from that Web of Spider-Man haul is issue 26, The Best Laid Plans. Out of all the covers of this little haul, Sam says this is his most favorite. Says he looks the most realistic and the most dynamic in this pose. All the art was done by Stephen Geiger, and if I messed up his name, I apologize. I think he's a great artist for this era, personally. Next cover is issue 27. We'll just kind of skim through that from what Sam was telling me, because he hasn't fully read the issues yet. He says 26 through 29, he kind of fights a gang. And in issue 30, which we'll be seeing here in short order, he fights the Kingpin and the Hobgoblin and the Rose. Issue 28 is my favorite cover of his haul. I think it's just kind of really a classic. It's Spider-Man at night by the Statue of Liberty. It's that hometown hero feel and effect that you get. Sam and I both agree that he's got a little too much contrast in our own minds with the blue, but it is at night and they need to have that contrast. So we're willing to forgive that because it's a great cover. I mean, come on. All right, the next one we've got here is number 29, and it's guest starring one of my X-Men, Wolverine. He's in that classic second generation orange and brown costume. Decent cover. He's drawn a little bit funny. Both Sam and I agree on that. Interesting little factoid. This suit was originally taken from one of the Starjammers when they fought them in one of their first meetings. Wolverine had his clothes burned off him, and he knocked out another Starjammer and took his clothes. So final book in our $13.99 haul is issue 30. Like I said before, it's the origin of the Rose, and Spider-Man fights him, the Kingpin, and the Hobgoblin. Pretty cool cover. All right, last two Web of Spider-Mans is issue 37 and 39. I asked Sam, why'd you get these? And he said, because they were cheap, Dad, because they were cheap. And you know what? At $3 a piece from Krypton Comics, not a bad deal. Number 37, Kind of like this. It shows the web slinger from above, kind of looking down below. This is about the slasher issue. It had some really good art in it. I looked at the splash page. It was really good. Some of the interior art's good. I would recommend it. So Sam DeWeese being my local Spider-Man historian, and I think he's got this correct, he said that the first appearance of this character, he was called the Looter, and it was way back in issue 36 of Amazing Spider-Man. At some point, his name changed to the Meteor Man, and so in issue 39 of Web of Spider-Man, he fights the Meteor Man. All right, the last Amazing Spider-Man issue that we're going to talk about today, or Spider-Man issue, is Amazing Spider-Man 81, 15-cent cover, and it is the first appearance of the Kangaroo. Interesting fact here, we got this also at Krypton Comics. It was a Memorial Day sale. Every year on Memorial Day, they give 25% off, so the book was normally marked $35. He got it for a discount, and when everything was said and done, he paid around $30 to $31 for it. Pretty good deal. Book's in really good shape, actually. When we got it home, it was really interesting because we actually had looked at the book in the store and were so excited about it. We didn't realize this until we got home, and he looked at it again the next day. It's missing the staple at the bottom. Now, the weird thing is, though, it's not missing it because it fell out. It's missing it because it was never put in at the manufacturing point. If you look at the book, the bottom staple, there are no holes in any of the pages or the cover. I looked it up online, and it said, as long as the staple is missing from the manufacturer, typically that does not lower the value of the book at all. If the staple was missing from the manufacturer, obviously it goes down. But since it was never put in, the book can still be graded at whatever grade it is, and it's a pretty good grade in my opinion. I would say, again, a solid 6, maybe even after a good cleaning and press, you're going to get a 7 on it. Pages are a little off-white. But if you look on here, if you look at the cover, the corners are sharp, there are no creases, and it presents really, really well. This is a book that he's actually been looking at for a long time and wanted to get, and he's bid on it several times and not got it, and he kept looking at this and finally pulled the trigger on Memorial Day last week. All right, and the big surprise. Oh, wait. Let me turn it around. Fantastic Four, number 39, released in 1965. So, as I've said before on our channel, Sam and I are big fans of just the art from the 1960s, and this is one of our favorite covers. Again, shout out to Krypton Comics this time. Sam looked and looked and looked at this issue, I would say a good month. Every time we'd go into that store, once or twice a week, he'd go into the box where the Silver Age comics are at, and he'd see this, and he'd just be like, I'll put it back, it's still here. I'll put it back, it's still here. It was $30 regular price, and they gave it to him for $15. They said, today only, I'll give you the Fantastic Four number 39 discount, $15. And it was too much for him to resist, and he picked it up, and I'm glad he did. You know, even though it's a well-read copy and well-worn, it's still really presentable, amazing or not. And I like the fact that it's got Doctor Doom kind of ominously looking down on everybody, and you got the little Daredevil down there, and the title is A Blind Man Shall Lead Him, and the cool thing is Daredevil has a cane in this, and not like his nunchucks or whatever other weapons that he has normally. I like that he's got his cane. So kudos to Sam pulling the trigger on this one. It's a really great book. I really appreciate the fact that he not only likes modern comics, he also likes going back to comics that are 50, 60, and 70 years old in some cases. And then finally, I want to say thank you to all the people that are viewing this new little YouTube webpage that my son and I are doing together. And I want to really thank all my subscribers. I'm up to a whopping 11 right now. But hey, tell all your friends to subscribe to me. I really want to make this channel a success, and I really want to grow this hobby with my son. So again, a thanks to all the viewers and subscribers until episode number 6. This is Britton DeWeese and Sam DeWeese signing out.